Greetings! There were some great matches in the UEFA Champions League playoffs. 3 results went as expected, and 1 result was out of control, as Galatasaray crushed Juve 5-2, while Paris Saint-Germain defeated Monaco and Real Madrid beat Benfica, and Dortmund took advantage of their home ground and beat Atalanta in the first match, which took place before all the others. Juve showed us both faces we've seen from them this season, and both in the same match. In the first half, they conceded a goal but responded excellently, went ahead 2-1, and everything was fine. But in the second half, there was a complete collapse, losing 5-2, which means they actually lost the second half 4-0, and on top of that, Kamal was sent off, which was effectively the end of the match, and it was a total collapse. Today, Juve really reminded me of the pre-Conte Juve. Those who experienced that era are seeing the same situation now, where the team, in some periods of matches and in some games, makes you feel they're strong and competitive, so you trust them. Then the next match comes and it's like they're saying, I fooled you, I can't focus. This kind of mental collapse has happened in more than one match. A technical collapse has also happened in more than one match. And honestly, I think any longtime Juve fan, especially the older ones, have lost hope for this season and have already started thinking about next season. Because what we saw today brings back memories of those dark old days. Of course, Juve still has a sliver of hope in the return leg, but it's unlikely because Galatasaray is no small team. They're a very strong team. A team that scored 5 goals today, took 22 shots, and dominated possession during the match. Maybe they have some defensive flaws, but in terms of quality and even their bench, they're a very good team. A team that deserved their victory. And as for Juve, I think even the management has already started thinking about what they need to do in the summer to bring this club back to its rightful place. We had a second match that was expected to be complicated because Paris Saint-Germain's situation is not good. Paris Saint-Germain and Monaco. Monaco shocked Paris with 2 goals, then Dembele was substituted. Strangely, this was Paris's moment of triumph because Daisy Doui's entry resulted in 2 goals, which is their record. He also changed the course of the match towards Paris. Monaco therefore lost 3-2. And Monaco also had a player sent off in the second half. Overall, I think Monaco knew they would be eliminated on aggregate, so they tried to put up a fight. But since they're playing in France and the return leg is at Paris' stadium, it's not like they're really going to another country. I think that Paris is really being forced in this situation to play yet another strong 90 minutes so that they can stay in the tournament, because up to this moment, it's very clear that Paris hasn't found the keys to play that made them win last season. And we had the Dortmund versus Atalanta match. Dortmund won with 2 goals, Guirassy scored 1 goal, and Maximilian Bayer scored another. As for Guirassy, I had a very strange statistic from Opta that from last season until today, no player has contributed to more goals, whether scoring or assisting, than him in the Champions League. And we know that Guirassy's form has been inconsistent this season, but now he's gotten into the mood for scoring goals, and that's exactly what Dortmund needs. As for Maximilian Bayer, who scored the second goal, I think we'll gradually start hearing his name more and more in the transfer market. Maybe the player hasn't delivered that explosive performance yet that convinces everyone about him, but every time I watch his match highlights, I see that he can offer more than people currently imagine. That's as far as Dortmund is concerned. Of course, Atalanta is down 2-0, but still has a chance in the return leg. I mean, in the end, Dortmund isn't the strongest team in Europe. They're vulnerable, they can be broken, but the result gives the impression. Let's move on to the last match, which was perhaps the highlight of the night, Real Madrid versus Benfica. Before the match, I posted a video explaining that the circumstances of this game favor Real Madrid more than Benfica. In the first leg, Benfica had nothing to lose. So they went all out and acted crazy. They pulled off something wild and won. Today, they can't do that because Real could really punish them for it. Because today, Real has something to lose, unlike the first leg. And this made Benfica more cautious. They tried to take the initiative in the first 5 minutes, but Real Madrid contained them and told them to calm down. After that, Real Madrid managed the match exactly as they wanted in every detail and came out with a 1-0 win. A great job by Arbeloa managing the match. Even during emotionally charged moments like the attack on Junior, a bit of tension in the final minutes, or a few chances for Benfica, this coach remained calm, even giving Junior the space to settle down and not pressuring him to immediately get back. Even his substitutions didn't try to disrupt the stable system in today's match, so it was a thoroughly respectable match from Arbeloa. Certainly respect for Mourinho also increased when he tried to contain Junior, and also when he took Bristani off, because honestly, this player was very provocative today, regardless of whether the accusation against him is proven or not. But now reports are starting to emerge saying that some players heard this, meaning that he called Junior a monkey. And unfortunately, this is a racist act, and I hope that if it is proven against him, we don't see him for the rest of the season. And I hope the punishments for racism become even harsher, because for me, it's pretty much the lowest level of morality a person can reach. Of course, some people might ask me, how is Mourinho calm if he got sent off? It's normal. These are his usual reactions. We know this about him. He just lost his temper and got a yellow card. This happens with referees. It's normal. But the man in important situations was just average. As for the real man today, it was Vinicius Junior. Anyone who doubts this player's quality simply doesn't watch football. Honestly, I'm surprised when someone questions whether Junior is a big star or not. I've said it a million times and I'll say it again today. In terms of abilities, skills, and speed, Junior, the initiative he has, the passion he has, when you put all of that together, it easily makes him the best player in the world when he's focused and when he's treated as a star. The difference between Junior under Alonso and Junior under Arbeloa is that Alonso treated him as if he had to prove himself, while Arbeloa treats him as the star, saying, "Show me what you can do." And in reality, he shows exactly what he can do, a truly incredible goal. And no one should come and say, well, he deserves to be criticized by the fans, or he deserves whatever someone says to him. First of all, racism is never justified. No matter what he does, no matter what happens, it's never acceptable for someone to be racist against another person, that's for sure. But the other thing is, he's the first one you see dancing in the corner. Why is he the only one who's not allowed to celebrate, not allowed to be happy? He scores a goal, puts his hand like this, and walks away. That's not right, it's unfair. I mean, I really sympathize with Junior a lot, and you can probably sense that from me, because I always feel like, man, he's treated unfairly. It's just not right. As a player with his abilities, if he were given the right environment, believe me, he could do incredible things. Also, in today's match, Arnold started and was making important contributions. He made the most key passes that led to chances later on. In today's match, he allowed Real Madrid to advance calmly from his side, really helping them move the ball forward. And in what we can call the second third of the field, his positioning was very useful in linking the midfield with the attack. So, tactically, Arnold's performance in the match was excellent, and defensively, it was positive. You really can't criticize it. As you watch the match, you feel that little by little, his importance to this team is increasing and his influence on its system is growing. And we had a strange substitution. An 18-year-old young player came on at a critical moment in an important match. There were still 10 minutes left for Thiago Pietras, and anything could have happened. But Arbeloa was bold and gave a young player a chance, letting him start his journey today with Real Madrid's first team. The first thing that came to my mind, one of the thoughts that crossed my mind, was that we've been hearing about Pietras for a year, that he's a good player, a solid player, a really decent player, and that Arbeloa wants to make him feel that he intends to rely on him more in the future, and maybe he's planning to play him more in midfield in the upcoming matches. So he put him in a tough situation, but this is not the time for adventures or gambles. The Champions League is not the time to start with these kinds of details. I was inclined toward another theory. By the end of the match, he had a few midfielders like Mastanduno and Ceballos who feel they deserve to play more than just 5 or 10 minutes. So why should I send them in upset? And the one I send in, Pietras, is happy to get on the field, even if it's just for a minute. He'll respond to every detail and sacrifice everything for every moment. He won't go in frustrated because he's coming on in stoppage time. He'll go in motivated. And I think here, the choice of Pietras was right, and the player actually performed well in the few minutes he played. Any ball that came to him in midfield, he held onto it and positioned himself well, and we could really feel his presence. A player both defensively and offensively. When you read about him, you find there's a lot of optimism about what he could achieve, so the idea of starting a player like this, you expect a lot from him. The Champions League is a good idea. But I go back and say, I think there were calculations involved that he was confident he would deliver in those 10 minutes, as much as in 90 minutes in the end. Real one. Madrid did what was required defensively. There wasn't much to criticize, maybe just 1 or 2 dangerous situations for Courtois, but the rest was fine. The shots from distance, offensively, they created enough chances to win easily by 1 or 2 goals. Mbappe is still not quite there yet. I think physically he's not at 100%. He's not the Mbappe we know. He probably needs more time to get back to his full level. Valverde and Tchouaméni have clearly regained their weight and importance on the field. And Arbeloa seems to have finished the first stage, the transitional phase. And now the season has started for him. He's leading the league, comfortable in the Champions League in theory after today's win, and the schedule is as expected. Of course, Real Madrid played the match very seriously because it's certain that Union Berlin has the tools to hurt you if you relax against them. This is definite advice. For Madrid fans who know this better than I do, since they've often taken advantage of others' mistakes in the Champions League, we reached the end of this video. I hope you subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings.